Ford have started 2015 with a bit of a new model assault. In February, they launched the Fusion, and now they have themselves a trio of load movers based on the large Tourneo. The Connect range consists of a 7-seater, a panel van, and that 5-seater. It's called the Tourneo Connect, and it's aimed at those people who want to carry people and stuff, and generally have a good time on the everyday drive, but at the same time, might need the space one gets in a panel van. We've said before that Ford are building good cars these days, and a particular strong point is the styling, but the Connect doesn't quite live up to that standard. It's nice enough looking. From the back, it's got the slimline lights that are similar to the bigger Tourneo, but from the front, it is a little bit bland when you compare it to things like the Fusion and the Cougar and the EcoSport. Having said that though, in its limited class, it is one of the best looking options you could go for. It also has the same basic shape as the others, a relatively sharp front end attached to an oversized box at the back. Our test car, the mid-level Trend, has a few exterior options, including the 16-inch alloy wheels. There's not much more to add though. The higher spec level just adds a bit of chrome and some extra color coding. In the front of the Tourneo Connect, you get lots of buttons and lots of plastic, but in the back, you get lots of space. Even in this 5-seater version, with all the seats removed, you get over 2,400 litres. And for once, actually removing the seats doesn't require that you have a degree in mechanical engineering. With the pull of a few tethers and the lifting of a few latches, the seats pop out, making for a cavernous load area. Loading up with the seats in place does introduce a bit of an irritation though. The load cover has a really odd design, and it can get quite fiddly when trying to figure out where it's supposed to sit. If, however, you couldn't be bothered with all of that and just want the space, you could always opt for the 5-seater's cousin, the Connect Transit. The less leisure-inclined version of the Connect family will swallow 3.6 cubic meters of whatever it is you want to load. It'll also secure that load in the separate load area with the help of tie-down hoops. Cleverly, Ford has fitted the Connect Transit with a reversing camera, which goes some way to deleting the downside of having a partition between the driver and the cargo area. Strangely though, that same camera isn't even an option on the 5-seater Connect. Also not available is the 1.6-litre diesel you get in the other Connects, which you might think is a bit of an oversight, but really, Ford couldn't really do much better than the engine they've got in here. Their 1-litre 3-cylinder is only available in the 5-seater, and that's a pity because it really is a magic little engine that just delivers, no matter what car Ford put it into. I first drove this motor in the Fiesta, where it was spectacular, then in the EcoSport, where it was equally as good. Now in the Tourneo Connect, it impresses no less than the others. The 3-cylinder turbo puts out 74 kilowatts and 170 newton meters, but it's the way that the power is pushed out that makes it so enjoyable. Lots of low-down shove, sometimes enough to chirp the wheels inadvertently, means this MPV feels strong off the line and when you need an overtake. It may struggle when taking on a full load, but for everyday situations, it certainly feels strong enough. There are some other aspects to the Connect's feel-good story. Nice steering, decent gearbox, comfortable ride setup. Although at over 12 meters, the turning circle is rather massive. By way of comparison, something like a Fiat Cubo does it in just over 10.5 meters. By that measurement, it's not the most maneuverable. But when you start to measure how this car stacks up against its competition, you see that it has its definite strengths. If you're in the market for this kind of car, you're in for a tough decision. If you compare an entry-level VW Caddy to an entry-level Tourneo Connect, you see that this car is 20 grand cheaper and is also better spec'd. But then if you look at a similarly spec'd Opel Meriva, you see that this car is 20 grand more expensive and only fractionally bigger. Making a call on which car in this class is the best is not an easy task. And there's not much else in the way of choices, besides that Fiat Cubo I mentioned, which is quite a bit cheaper, but also lacking when it comes to driver enjoyment. The Connect is a strong contender in this very limited segment, but it's not the most impressive of the new Fords. It's not as striking as a Fusion and doesn't offer the same value proposition as a Cougar, but the Ford Tourneo Connect is well priced with a good drive and versatile space. And let's be honest, for an MPV, what else could you ask for? Ford's 1-litre 3-cylinder EcoBoost motor impresses again in the Tourneo Connect with lots of low-down shove and a good everyday drive. The manual is the only gearbox option. It has the space and the versatility to match the competition and also offers decent value. The rear parcel shelf design is a bit of an oddity though, and it's not the most striking Ford of late.